Right, the Biden administration's request for emergency funding that I discussed last segment also includes about $14 billion in spending that the White House has designated for, quote unquote, strengthening border security and enforcement. But a closer look at the Biden administration's plan for this spending reveals it may not achieve what the White House claims. Surprise, surprise. And many are questioning if the border spending would merely usher illegal immigrants into the country faster, while changing nothing about the underlying failed policies that encourage illegal immigration and put the nation at risk. Joining me now to discuss this is U.S. Senator John Cornyn of Texas. He serves on the Senate Finance Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, and the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator Cornyn, welcome to Washington Watch.
Great to be with you, Tony.
You were on the floor earlier today expressing concerns about this proposal from the president. Tell us why.
Well, we know that the Biden border policy has really been an open border policy, and we've seen roughly 7 million migrants coming across the border, many that, in fact, most don't have any legitimate claim to be here. But because of the volume of cases, the backlog in the immigration courts, many of them have been released into the interior of the country and may or may not ever end up in front of an immigration judge. And then there's 108,000 Americans died of drug overdoses last year, 300,000 children who are essentially lost to the Biden administration, unaccompanied children placed with sponsors. Nothing in this request would change any of the policies that have given us the worst border crisis we've seen in American history.
Well, given, Senator, the heightened concern with the conflict now in the Middle East and possibly sleeper cells in the United States, I mean, just last month alone, 18 people on the FBI terror watch list were caught coming across the southern border. That brings the total to, I think, about 169 over the last 12 months. Of course, that doesn't account for the terrorists in the 1.5 billion or so gotaways.
Right.
Is this not a major concern for us right now, given what's happening around the world?
Well, on 9/11, 2001, 19 terrorists killed 3,000 Americans in New York and in Pennsylvania. So you can only imagine that if we've detained this many that have come across, we've actually identified as such, how many more have likely gotten across? The easiest way to get into the United States these days, if you're a foreign national, is not to get a visa, it's to show up at the foreign border and claim asylum. Indeed, one border sector, the Yuma sector, a sleepy little agricultural community, told us that they have welcomed people from 147 different countries in the last year alone. So this is a notorious problem, but the Biden administration apparently doesn't care, because if they cared, they would do something about it. And I'd be happy to help them, but they don't seem to care.
Well, let me ask you about that, Senator Cornyn. Is there going to be any dialogue about this? I mean, this is very deceptive that they're saying, look, we need $14 billion. People are concerned about the southern border. But it's really just to expedite people coming into the country, as I understand it. It has nothing to do with actually securing the border.
You're exactly right. And I will not vote to spend one more dime in pursuit of President Biden's open border policies. And so what we need is 41 Republicans to tell Senator Schumer that we're not going to proceed to this bill that will help Israel, will help Ukraine and Taiwan, even though many of us support those policies. We're not going to proceed to this bill until we get something that actually changes the flow of migrants across the border, that sends the message that you can come here by legal means, but if you want to come here by illegal means in the care and custody of the cartels, you're not going to be able to come anymore. And we're determined to use this as leverage to try to get that accomplished.
But, you know, this is the type of politics that really disgusts people. You have the administration here saying they have $14 billion to address security on the border, when in fact it's not. And they've shoved Israel into here, which does have a lot of support, as you pointed out, from conservatives. Taiwan, very concerned about what China's doing over there. But those are just fractions of the total amount of money, $60 billion going to Ukraine. There's not unity on what's happening there. So is there going to be an effort to try to separate these funding bills?
The Appropriations Committee, the full Appropriations Committee, is going to have a hearing next week. I believe it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, and hopefully scrub this bill to see what is truly an emergency and what is not. I don't expect there to be unanimity on this, but I will tell you that unless there is a solution, or at least a partial solution, progress made on stopping this flow of migrants and drugs across the border, that we're not going to proceed to the rest of the bill, as attractive as much of it may be to us. I personally support Israel. I think it's very important for us to continue to support Israel, send a message to the world that we have Israel's back. I do believe we need a better plan to know exactly how we're going to spend money in Ukraine, hopefully to degrade the Russian military. But I worry that some of the so-called humanitarian relief will be diverted by the United Nations to other causes. So we need to scrub this request down. That'll start next week, but it'll be an ongoing process.
All right, Senator, we're up against the clock here. We got to wrap it up. But what can our listeners and viewers do to be helpful on this?
If they call their senator, their Senate offices, and say, do not proceed to this bill until and unless there are actually policy changes in the Biden border policy that will staunch the flow of migrants across the border.
All right, we will do just that. Senator John Cornyn, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony.